This is an excerpt from the book of Unus Sumus. This is not a new religion. It is a state of being. Please know that this book was created with tremendous love and care in moving the world into a new way of thinking, with the acceptance of a more positive and empowering perspective that is not obsessed with the quote, "we are sinners" message. We're on our way to becoming expanded humans. This book was not written to create a new religion or denomination of Christianity. It was created to encourage humanity to have a more expanded view of faith, of the universe, and of God. This book encourages you to go beyond the traditional teachings. It does not, however, force everyone into a cookie-cutter perspective adorned with a million rules and regulations that sabotage the human spirit rather than lift it up. We've already been there and done that. In the end, this book is not out to convince anyone of anything if that person is not ready to receive. Some will realize there is a better way. Jesus' hidden teaching. This is the beginning of nurturing and strengthening the deep down buried divine power we have as humans. This book acknowledges that everyone has been given free will to choose their own road. You are not a sinner if you do not align with philosophies that push you into a victim-based, disempowering state of being. Within the pages of this book, you will discover an emphasis on the law of Unus Sumus and our connection to God, to each other, and to ourselves. This book was written to highlight our potential as co-creators and mini-gods in this universe and all the universes that were manifested from the great mind of our Creator. But to do that, we must first eliminate old ideologies that state it is greedy and sinful to feel powerful and desire prosperous abundance. Jesus' new covenant reinstates our inheritance as expanded children of the Most High. This is why Jesus came, taught, loved, and then conquered death. Clarifying some misunderstandings. Before you begin to read each day with reverence and a spirit of receiving, I must address the belief that if you acknowledge your potential to manifest, accept the law of Unus Sumus, and all the other universal laws, then you don't make God the primary focus of your life. Nothing is farther from the truth, since these concepts were created by God, and in fact, for me, it allowed a greater capacity to get to know God in a way I hadn't before, more intimately. You are much more than your physicality. You are a powerful light being at the soul and expanded level. This is who you really are. Within this energy, you will find your life purpose. I don't blame anyone for the past feedings of these myths and misinterpretations. For those we consider at the forefront of this misinformation were misinformed themselves. And so, the more you uncover, the more you will desire to quench your thirst for this ancient new way of living. Embrace mind-blowing revelations. In the spirit of forgiveness, know that God does not abandon us, send floods, obliterate Sodom and Gomorrah, or ask Abraham to prove his loyalty by sacrificing his son, even if he had plans to stop it at the last moment. This is narcissistic, insecure, lower vibrational behavior that doesn't align with our heavenly source. He loves us all the time, and in every condition and situation, even when we're lost sheep in the wilderness. Jesus came to reintroduce us to our loving Creator. Jesus challenged the Sadducees, the Pharisees, and the high priests at every turn during his ministry and questioned their view of God. He contradicted many of the Old Testament teachings. During the Sermon on the Mount in Matthew 5:17, he said, "Don't think that I came to destroy the law or the prophets. I didn't come to destroy, but to fulfill." He wasn't talking about the law and prophets according to the Pharisees and the high priests, but the true teaching of God before it was distorted. Remember that by adding in their own self-righteous laws to those first 5 books, they are the ones that have violated the original law. Jesus once instructed us by quoting Psalm 82:6. Quote, "I said, you are gods. All of you are sons of the Most High." Unquote. This was an incredible realization for me. I am a mini-God. I am a powerful creature of energy. At my very core, I, too, am a purely spiritual being, like Him. Although He vibrates at the level of Christhood, a concept difficult for us to conceive of in our current reality, we still have the ability to align ourselves to the high vibratory states of being. We have the power to tap into infinite divine love, wisdom, strength, and guidance. Our expanded self knows exactly what we require and attracts it to us. This is possible because we are connected to the spirit world. We are connected to the divine source. And we have the power to reach states of consciousness that we previously never even knew existed. Furthermore, there is the glorious realization that God manifested us in such a complex and incredibly amazing way. The real God of love wants us to have the option to choose Him with knowledge, wisdom, and eyes fully open. He never wanted us to love Him out of fear or obedience. He never wanted us to think that He's keeping a judgment day over our heads, like a dark cloud of dread looming over us for our entire lives. How does that align with love and forgiveness? It doesn't. Let's clarify what the law really is. Learning about Jesus' connection to the Essene Nazarenes allowed me to get to know Him more intimately. My friends, with the new covenant, we are no longer bound by the old law. Remember this, you cannot have unconditional love if you do not have unconditional forgiveness first. So when acts of punishment were used to reprimand sinners, it certainly wasn't from a place of forgiveness. Jesus died to show us how the strength of the human spirit can transform our physicality into a spiritual one, and to reach Christhood and a state of pure selflessness and love for others. This is only reached when we forgive and have compassion. This cannot be attained by implementing cruel and unusual punishments, belittling, or carrying out executions to, quote, serve justice, for this is done from a place of weakness and enslavement to fear. The new covenant brings that compassion back into the equation. There are countless passages making us aware of this new covenant. Jeremiah 31:31 says, "Behold, the days come, says Yahweh, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judea." Luke 22:20, "Likewise, He took the cup after supper, saying, This cup is the new covenant in my blood, which is poured out for you." Hebrew 8:13, in that he says, "A new covenant, He has made the first old. But that which is becoming old and grows aged is near to vanishing away. Romans 7:4-6. Therefore, my brothers, you also were made dead to the law through the body of Christ, that you would be joined to another, to him who was raised from the dead, that we might produce fruit to God. For when we were in the flesh, the sinful passions which were through the law worked in our members to bring out fruit to death. But now we have been discharged from the law, having died to that in which we were held, so that we serve in the newness of the Spirit and not in the oldness of the letter. Could this be any clearer? I can go on and on. Jesus came to free us from the old law and was crucified for it. So I ask that you take heed to the advice of Galatians 5:18. But if you were led by the Spirit, you are not under the law. Dear friends, you cannot move forward in the Spirit if you're still chained to the old regime. He who has ears to hear, let him hear, says Jesus in Matthew 11:15. If anyone argues that Paul may have abolished the ceremonial law, but that we are still bound to the moral law, ask yourself this: does it feed off the energy of fear? Does it exclude those of different cultural or sexual orientations? Does it pitifully categorize them as sinful and inferior? We cannot unlearn that which we have learned. We cannot wipe away that which we have discovered. We cannot go back to states of being that we have broken free of. This is impossible. These messages will change you. These messages will propel you forward to the most amazing revelations and awareness. Align, allow, and accept. If you haven't done so, please share, like, and subscribe, and click on the notification button to receive notification of future videos. Sending you much love and light and many blessings.